Welcome back to a new video. In this video, we will see what is topology. So the topic is topology. I'm starting with a question. Okay. So let's say I'm taking a sphere and a donut. Right. So we have two objects. One is here that we call S2, and we have donut, so that we call T2, right? Now here the question, are they same? So the question, are they same? Okay, right? Now inside this question again you have a question. What do you mean by same? What do you mean by same? Right? How do you define same? So let's take a very basic example, then you understand what I'm trying to mean. So let's say I'm taking two persons standing on the ground. Okay, person A, person B. If I ask the question, are they same? These two persons? So yes, sometimes no. If you look at these two persons, then the height are different, right? So these two persons has height different. Height not same. So therefore you can say with respect to height, these two persons are different, right? But what about the weight? If you measure the weight, maybe they are same, maybe we don't know. But with respect to height, these two persons are different, right? So here you have a measurement system. That is height. You use it and you declare that these two persons are different. Right? But what about here? Can you introduce something like height that help you to decide these two objects are different? Is it possible in the case of topological space? If it is, what is that object that are like height, and how do we decide? So for that purpose, we need to introduce the concept of topological space. Okay? And we define some terminology tools that help us to distinguish different type of object. Okay? So here in this topological course, that you need to know first of all the language that are used, set theory. Okay? Set theory like used. Right? And the second that I will introduce in set theory called the topological space. Okay? Then we define the concept called the continuity. Okay? So continuity of function. What do you mean by it? So continuity of a function. Continuity of a function means if you have an object and if you give some action, then you get a new object, right? And in this action you have some restriction. You not allow tearing, right? And you cannot actually break into two pieces. Those kind of action is not allowed in the case of continuity. You can give deformation, you can twist, but you not allow your tearing object. Okay? This is the continuity meaning in mathematics. And four, we define the connectedness. This is also very important. So what do you mean by connectedness? Connectedness means basically simply the single piece, right? For example, if you take here the circle is a single piece. But if I take two lines even together, these two together have two pieces, right? This is the one piece and the second one is the other piece, right? So this is connected, but this is not connected in some sense, right? Then next we define the compactness. Okay. So compactness is very important. You can explain in a very different way compactness inside the topological space. My favorite is in terms of function, because this function is basically, the general function of a set. In some sense, okay. Compactness is a general function of finite set in the topological space. In some sense, okay. Next we defined, the fundamental proof. Okay. And then homology. So these tools we use. These are the tools that you can use to decide these two objects are same or different. Okay. One by one, we have to define all these things. We need a full, the course. So let's see it. Then you can understand. Okay. So what we did? So what is topological space? The best question, take a sphere and donut. Then you ask the question, are they same? The question, in what sense they are same? To make clear and easy, I took two persons here and asked, are these two persons same? If you look at these two persons, are not same if you measure the height, so they are not different. So same kind of object can be defined that help us to distinguish these two objects are different, and the answer is yes. So for that reason, we have to define this all term. The topological space, continuous map, connectedness, compactness, the fundamental proof, homology and cohomology. We'll see one by one in the next video. Hopefully you will understand. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.